Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and everything in between. This is NovaWar and LAGTV bringing you another fantastic StarCraft 2 commentary. Today, guys, I'm going to switch it up a bit. I'm actually going to be doing more of a breakdown commentary, trying to show some of you lower level players, and when I say that, I'm talking about maybe silver and bronze level players, some of the things that you should not be doing, especially as a Protoss, because as you can see here, SrsBsns and TheVoid are both Protoss in this match. I'm going to be talking more specifically about Protoss, but in general, these topics will apply to just about any race. So, full disclosure, if any of this sounds familiar, it is because a lot of this you might have heard from somebody called Day9. He is one of the people who inspired Jeff and I to do what we are doing now to begin with, so I highly suggest that you go check him out if you want to. He does do, once a week, he does do a lower level player commentary type deal, and he is very, very good. I've learned from him as well, but we're going to be using some of his insights for this match specifically. Before I go any further, I'm going to pause this really quick. And before I talk about what I want you to notice right up here, all you people asking for it, that's right, Mr. NovaWar is bringing you your production tab. Want to give myself a little self-high five right now, but I can't because I'm holding my microphone in my left hand. With all that, you know, all that stuff aside, in all seriousness, first thing I want you guys to notice is that both of these guys are pumping out too many probes at once. Very common mistake as a low-level player. I'm going to continue this as I talk about it. Very common mistake. Only build, as Protoss, at maximum, 2 probes at a time. And if you do 2 probes at a time, I want you to chrono boost your Nexus, because a chrono boosted Nexus has just enough time to put out 2 probes. If you're doing anything more than that, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting your minerals. If you're not chrono boosting 2 probes, I want you to only build 1 probe at a time. Now, with that being said, both players doing a good job, if you pay attention up here, both players doing a good job at, for the most part, continuously building probes. There's a little bit of lag in between every once in a while, but in general, you will notice in the production tab that they do a fairly good job. TheVoid down here putting off probes, however, to build a cannon wall. This is a very common thing to see at low levels, and as you can see up here, ironically, or not ironically, but coincidentally, SrsBsns doing the exact same thing. And both players, despite what I had just said 2 seconds ago, you know, not building any probes in that time frame because they were saving up for those cannon. Not a great idea, right? If you are a low-level player, I want you... Well, no, I'm just going to keep this going, and I can talk over this stuff. If you are a low-level player, alright, go and watch one of our other videos of maybe a platinum-level player who's a Protoss, and you will see that they build their first pylon at 9 probes, their gateway at around 12, their first simulator around 13 or 14, and then they go into a cybernetics core and a second pylon and then a second gate and so on. Pay attention to that. That is the standard build for a Protoss player. You're going to see it all the time. You'll notice that they don't get 9 times or even more than 9 times out of 10. They're not going to get a forge right away, and they're definitely not going to spend 400 plus minerals on photon cannon right out of the gate because it's not worth it. You could have taken those minerals, built your gateway faster. You could have built 2 gateways. You could have built 2 gateways and a cybernetics core. You could have had your warp gate research almost done at this point if you really wanted to and used your chrono boost on it. You could have had a number of units at this point out of those first gateways. The big thing that I want to point out here is that if you had not done this, you could have had a mobile army at this point. Probably at about 5-6 minutes of the game, you'd have 2 or 3 zealots, maybe a stalker and a sentry, depending on how you built your combination of units. With that aside, though, something that is good, and I want to point out on this match right now, is that SrsBsns, which is, I think, how he wants to pronounce that name, is actually doing a good job here with this. He put this here earlier in the match. It is essentially just a proxy pylon, but it could also be a scout to see if these rocks are going to come down and his opponent's going to try and come around the back door. But as you can see, TheVoid building even more cannon and building a Stargate. So as you can see here, we're seeing a lower level match with somebody who is trying to do a Void Ray push because he's probably seen it 100,000 times done somewhere else and be super effective, and he's thinking, oh man, I can't possibly lose if I go Void Ray. We're going to see, however, because up at the other end of the map, SrsBsns looks to be going 4-gate, probably going to be Blinkstalker, if that's what this Twilight Council is going to put out as soon as it's built. Let's wait and see. And yes, it is, and he is chrono boosting it. Good job, sir. So there are some good fundamentals going on here. He's using his chrono. He's definitely you know, convinced that building 5 probes at once is going to be a good idea. But at least he's got some of his chrono boosting down properly. On the other end of the field, as you can see, even though we're building 2 Void Ray at once, he's just now chrono boosting. Guys, really, if you're sitting on the amount of money that TheVoid is sitting on at this point in time, you should be expanding. You should be double pumping the Void Ray out if you're going to try and make an early push. At this point, if he was playing anybody at a higher level than him, you know, let's assume that this was like a promotion match, and if he won this match, he was going to get promoted to the next league. If he was playing somebody in another league, odds are they probably have that fundamental build down that I was talking about. Regardless of race, all races have a very standard couple of opening builds, and you know, he probably would have been attacked fairly early on and probably under a lot of pressure, and perhaps wouldn't have even made it this far into the game at this point. Good thing to point out, though, is that he is expanding, and as we can see, SrsBsns is starting to build up a force out here. But SrsBsns also blocking off the choke to his own natural expansion. Now, if you are, I'm going to pause this for a quick second, if you are going to defend this side of your base, okay, don't block off your only access to your own natural. Take your probe down here, build the pylon here for 2 reasons. One, you're going to be able to see if that rock is being destroyed by SrsBsns. This is a very good way to come into the base, get rid of an expansion if there is one, and then make your way, if you can, into the opponent's main base. Second reason, if you're going to build that cannon, you can build them down here and deter anybody from actually making a push through these rocks. But as you can see, SrsBsns chooses to block off his own way down, but that's okay, we're going to ignore that for now. Instead, we're going to focus on the fact that what he is doing is he is warping in units down here, which I'm assuming will get rid of these destructible rocks and make their way into this expansion area and up into the main. TheVoid, on the other hand, still not really using his chrono boost that effectively. He's just realizing now that, hey, if I had a second Stargate, I bet you I could make twice as many Void Ray that I can right now in just the same amount of time. And, of course, he could. He could have been doing that much earlier, though, and as you can see, the photon cannon are still being built. I don't know if that thing's going to try and kill these birds, or what this photon cannon is for. It's not going to do a whole lot. These photon cannon, okay. Probably could have only built 1 as a scout and a little bit of a defense, but 2 is a bit much. However, you know, judging by the amount he's built already, not surprising to see a whole bunch more cannon going down. SrsBsns still pumping out the units. He's now building his observer, which should have been much earlier, and I think after watching his resources go down, he just warped in more guys, and he has. Guys, as a Protoss player, I'm going to mention this real quick as well. You know, observers are really vital, especially if you're playing another Protoss player. We're going to watch this. SrsBsns should now know that this expansion is here based on these cannon, but observers are your detectors. Don't use cannon as detectors. Maybe use 1 at your main. A lot of the times you'll see high-level players put one here, regardless of race, they'll put one around here for a bit of a detector, but also for a bit of defense. But as you can see, first of all, there's no way these guys should be backing up. Yeah, there's no way they're going to win. Build, there's no harm in building multiple observers, right? One is okay, bring it around with your army. Leave one in your main base. Excuse me. Build another one to, travel the map a bit. Having 3 or 4 observers is only going to help you. And if you're not, as we watch these rocks get destroyed, if you're not building anything out of your robotics facility anyway, why not build more observers, right? They're not going to do anything but help you. As you can see, SrsBsns is now going to come in here and probably take out these Void Ray. The Void's still not chrono boosting. He's built 3 on each. He could, if he had all these, they would take out this force very easily and handily. But as you can see, they're all going to go down, and he's probably going to lead the game at this point. And there he goes. No good game. That's what we. I want to say that's what we like to see, but really it's not. But that's okay. That's understandable. It's a little lower level. He's probably frustrated that the Void Ray did not work. But couple of things before I wrap this up, guys. Couple of things that I want to recap on for you lower level Protoss players. Never stop building probes, okay? We've said it a million times in our videos, but never stop building probes. Build 1 at a time, unless you're building 2 at a time, in which case, chrono boost them, because it's just enough time for the 2 to get out. Number 2, focus on mastering that standard opening for all Protoss players. 9 pylon, 12 gateway, 13 or 14 assimilator, and then get your cybernetics core and your second gateway, and if you've scouted, you should know where to go from there. That's the very standard build for most players. It is a good one to practice at, and it will get your timings a little more sharp. But in general, that is a very important thing to do. If you get the fundamentals down, the rest will come very easily. Number 3, when you have that build down, don't spend your minerals on a bunch of cannon, and you will find you won't have to in order to defend yourself. These guys are probably doing this because they've been in a bunch of matches where if they haven't built 5 cannon in front of their base, they've lost very quickly. If you get that build order down that I just mentioned, you will have a stalker and a zealot and maybe a sentry or 2, and you'll find you'll be able to defend most first pushes. It's going to take some micro practice as well, but you know what, if you get that down, like I said before, a lot is going to come much easier down the road. I personally had to relearn all of my mechanics in Starcraft with that same kind of thing in mind, so you're not alone. I'm still really practicing it because I'm a bit rusty after doing all these casts and stuff, but really guys, if you practice that stuff, you're going to be much better off. But I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys have liked what I just did here, let me know in the comments. If you don't like what I just did here, also let me know in the comments. I will take both sides with stride. I am not that concerned about it. I want to just do this to help people a little more in the extra low level community that we have with LAGTV. And so if you've enjoyed it, let me know. But that is all I'm going to say for now, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Nova War for LAGTV. And I will see you guys later. Don't forget, before I go check out our website. It is www.d2dgamer.com. The forum is filled full of fantastic, awesome people that are willing to help and very friendly. The community is growing. We've got great things coming up, including our tournament, of course. But go check out that website. Make sure you register. Keep giving us the thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. Keep subscribing, keep sending in those replays, and we love you guys. We'll see you soon. This has been Nova War. Peace out.